Okay, so I get a lot of emails from so many of you to talk about how I started my career in blogging. I get a lot of questions on that. I also get a lot of questions on just career advice in general. I also get a lot of questions related to career from like juniors from my school in college, a lot of friends who ask me what way to go. I sort of decided to do a video on this. Now I have done a video on like various details on how to start your blogging career with Repose. So I am hopefully getting that video from them by tomorrow, so that once I get it, I'm going to upload it on my channel as well to share it with you. I want to say a big thank you to them for helping me shoot that. Of course, they also uploaded it on their channel, but I also want to share it with you guys. So in case that video has gone up before this, I will add the link to it here and down below. For now, I just want to talk about basic things about identifying your career choices. So I think one of the main questions that I've got from a lot of people is how to sort of distinguish between your passion and your career. Can they be the same thing? Can they not be the same thing? What is it like? I think my response to that is really simple. If you're really passionate about something and you think you're not going to get fed up of it if you do it every single day, go for it. If you feel like this is best left as a hobby, or if you feel this is not going to be able to satisfy your bank balance, or you're going to get bored of it, or you just don't want to take the risk of sort of overdoing the one thing you're so passionate about, stay away from it. I feel like it's a very personal call because these things are very personal, the factors are very personal, and it's not a single choice question, so to speak. There are too many dimensions for you to consider. Will it help you make enough money to uplift, not just maintain your lifestyle? How easily does it come to you by nature? I don't mean how easily you will succeed at it, because I feel like hard work is part of every single profession in this world, with zero exceptions. You have to work hard, but I feel like you need to be able to understand that certain things will work for you in the long run, or you might end up getting bored of certain things in the long run. It could go either way. My kitty is tugging at my dress right now. Okay, just 1 second. So basically, what I'm trying to say is you need to sort of decide what's going to work for you in the long run and what might not work for you in the long run. Also, when it comes to sort of like starting afresh, I've heard of and met and heard from so many people who don't necessarily know what they want to do in terms of long-term career. You have a hobby and a passion, and you sort of know what you might want to do in terms of industry, but contrary to how it used to be in our parents, well, at least I'll say in my parents' time, there used to be commerce, science, arts, and BCom, Bachelor of Science, and BA, and that was it. And now you have like there's like a plethora of options out there. I just want to take a second to say, it's okay if you're confused. It's absolutely fine. Don't fall under the pressure of what somebody else might be doing. Don't fall under the pressure of what you think you should be doing versus what you actually want to do. Picking your career is something that's very important, because hopefully you will be enjoying it, loving it, making great money out of it, satisfying your creative buds, and hopefully doing it for the rest of your life. So if you want to spend a year or two shuffling between a couple of things, or interning, or traveling and getting inspired, it's fine. You need to understand that these decisions can't be taken under pressure, and you need to be able to think with clarity. So if you want to take time on it, my advice to you is, please take that much time. It's fine. Don't let anybody else say otherwise. Another question I get asked a lot is, where do you start from? I know so many kids fresh out of college who want to get really good jobs. I also know so many people who've gone overseas and done their education and come back, because you don't get jobs so easily. You don't get sponsored jobs very easily overseas, whether you're in the US or London or in New Zealand or wherever you could be in the world. I feel like that's a tricky one, because it depends on the kind of course you've worked on. For example, you can't go overseas and study law and then come back and expect to get a job with a law firm. That makes zero sense, because you're not familiar with Indian law. Similarly, that's absolutely not the case when it comes to fashion. If you've gone overseas and done a course in fashion management or fashion design or fashion styling, it's such a global approach towards a subject like that it's not going to be very tough for you to find something here. Having said that, another thing I want to touch upon is that there are a lot of people fresh out of college or who've just come back who expect to land really good jobs right at the beginning of their career. It's raining. Back to talking about work. I feel like you have to start with paying your professional dues. maybe you should start off as an assistant or an intern, something that's going to help you gain the work experience. Between my first year junior college and my second year of degree college, BMM, I think I did like 11 or 12 internships. I don't even remember. I'll have to make a list. I knew the number, but now I don't remember it. It's a little over 10, somewhere between 10 and 14ish. And I loved doing those internships. I mean, I was 15 when I did my first internship, solely because I feel the kind of experience you gain, your work culture, your work ethics, how professional you are, how punctual you are, your reporting methods to seniors. I feel like things like that go a really long way in winning clients, maintaining clients, making sure your clients are really happy with your work. And like for example, I have these clients that I consult with, because so many of you might already know that apart from being a full-time blogger, something I do on the side is consulting with a few brands for their digital strategies, their communication. It's something that keeps me constantly stimulated, because I feel like the variation between the two things I do keeps me more energetic. It helps me stay creative, which is so important considering the field I'm in. So I feel like if my reporting to a client, like I send weekly reports saying this is what I suggested, this is how I suggest we go about it, these little ways of kind of foolproofing your mechanism, your operations. You learn a lot of these things in your internships or as an assistant, or just someone at a slightly lower level, because eventually that's when you grow, sharpen, you groom your skills, and you get to the higher level. Another thing I want to point out is that a lot of people want to get into the fashion industry but don't necessarily already have those qualifications, and in some fields you don't necessarily need those qualifications. My graduate degree is in mass media with a major in marketing and advertising, which typically means I didn't have a 3-year long course in fashion education, but just the fact that I constantly kept giving myself time and space to do research, whether it was magazines, whether it was fashion shows. I always kept abreast. Also in my second year of BMM, I did a fashion illustration course because I wanted to like be able to sketch beautifully. It's not something that comes naturally to me. So I did like a good 6-month long course in it, and I'm so glad I did it because I'm a lot less horrible than I used to be. In fact, for a while I was really good until of course I lost practice. Which brings me to another point. Practice. If there's something you want to do, something you have your heart set on, practice. Like when I look back at like really old personal style stories of mine on the blog, I'm not necessarily like, wow, this is amazing stuff considering this was done in 2013 or 12. But I feel like the fact that I'm constantly practicing, constantly growing, constantly looking for newer things to do, it helps me a lot. Like for me, the job I'm in mandatorily requires for me to reinvent myself or come up with new ideas. Just make sure it doesn't get redundant, doesn't get boring, so that I don't get in a space where people see my YouTube channel and they should say, hey, I want to go watch it. So I feel like you need to sort of stay in that space, stay in a zone where you're happy with what you're doing and at the same time you're feeling creative enough about it. Just a little tip to those of you who could be applying for jobs for the first time or on a repeated basis. Please don't start or send emails to people for jobs that say, hi XYZ, PFA resume. Like that makes zero sense. You need to be able to say more about yourself to convince me that I even want to open your resume. Because if your grammar is all off and if you're not selling me in those first 3 lines of your email, I may not even be interested enough to open your resume. And I don't mean like you, I mean like a person who writes an email like that while sending out a job application. Be warm, be real, be who you are, because you're all amazing people out there. And when you're applying for jobs, you need to let the person understand who you are over and above what those letters in black and white look like on the laptop screens, right? You need to personify your email to sound like you, so that when they meet you, which hopefully they will, they'll be able to make a connect with what you sound like versus what was written in the email. There should be a sync in there. Well, I can't think of much else to say right now, but I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of a new sort of like series on the blog. I'm hoping to call it Anam Talks, and I hope that this helps. I want to talk about various subjects, not just career. I want to talk about what's going on. I want to talk about feminism. I want to talk about body shaming issues, fat shaming, thin shaming. There's all sorts of shaming, and none of it is nice. So I feel like I want to talk about different subjects in this new series. If you have any questions on this, I want you to go to my Instagram and leave comments, or leave them down below here, because I will start like keeping a collection of these questions, and then maybe I'll do like a video that answers a bunch of these questions together. So yeah, you can tweet to me, you can post on my Instagram, you can email me, or you can just sort of comment down below and let me know what you think of this, because I feel like this is something we should do. We should talk more. Okay, I'm gonna go now because my kitten is still tugging at my dress. I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah!